Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to The Opportunistic Trader. It is about noon on October 12th, Friday, and we're joined by Mark Fisher. Mark is the author of The Logical Trader, industry professional, has tons of great information and observations on the market. How you doing, Mark?
I'm good, Mike. How are you?
Good. It's been a crazy week. It's been a good week for The Opportunistic Trader, a lot of activity. What have you been seeing?
Well, first of all, I've been seeing Larry's, publicity all over the place. You know, people, the people coming in from Japan, people coming from Australia. So I wanted to congratulate
China.
you.
We got in a China newspaper last
Today
night.
is China.
China, okay, good.
Yes.
Whatever it may be.
Exactly.
Next thing you know, they'll be asking to, to start,
What do you
his
mean? You're going to
commentary.
go on my speaking tour with me? We're
What, are
going to
you
tour
crazy? But the
Asia.
next thing you know, they're going to want him to be on the Iraq, Qatar, and Saudi Arabian, stock markets, whatever. But no big deal. But with that being said, listen, I think that if you read all the publications, no one really thinks that the market really is going to go down much more. Everyone says, 5% more it's a buy, 5% more it's a buy. But I think that Larry hit the nail on the head that if it goes down more, you're going to see even more panic just because people just don't want to give back money. The wealthy, the number one thing that wealthy people want to do today in the country is stay wealthy. They don't want to go from wealthy to non-wealthy. So it's an interesting thing. I mean, can the markets bounce? Yeah, but do I think do I think the rallies can be sold from now on? Yeah. I definitely think the rallies can be sold. I think that, this interesting dynamic going on here with crude oil that no one really is paying attention to, because I really think this whole thing with Saudi Arabia and, supposedly executing that guy who's a dissident in the embassy that they had in Turkey is going to put a lot of pressure. There's going to be a lot of pressure from the United States on that politically. And I think that has to mean that Saudi Arabia has to pump. At short term, that probably means a little hiccup in the oil markets that you probably could see another $3-5 down, just because I think that's going to be their way of making up with everyone for what happened there. Sort of like that. I mean, I could be wrong, and that could be a little conspiracy theory thing, but that's what I think.
Would that have anything to do with that Brent crude spread also? With that?
I don't know if it would or not, but I do think also, and again, I'm talking my book, so I apologize. I do think the number one commodity that's acting the best in the last week, give or take, is nat gas. And I do think it's early in the season. I think that, late in the season when there's only X amount of cold weather left, it's a different thing. Nat gas is hanging in around 318. The high this week was 335. I think that, nat gas is an animal unto itself. If the weather, next week goes colder, I think people are not going to want to go home with uncovered nat gas, going up the board in November below 340. I really think 340, 350 is a price target to get to if the weather cooperates. Obviously, the problem with nat gas, it's all weather dependent. I think supply doesn't come into account in nat gas until later in the season. When you say, well, even if it gets colder, we have X amount of supply left. But now, with the whole winter ahead of us and with the crazy weather patterns we've been having, I think that, and the relative strength that nat gas has been showing relative to all the other commodities, and I don't know if anyone in this, who's listening remembers Rich Dennis from C&D, but you always want to buy strength and sell weakness, in certain things. I mean, nat gas, again, I'm talking my position, but I really think that nat gas has some upside. And I guess the easiest way to express it is through calls, because volatility is not really expensive there. So, I know that, the optimistic trader, typically loves to sell premium, but I would tell Mr. Benedict and the other people from Zinger's Deli that work with you to stay away from selling nat gas upside calls, just because, just don't sell nat gas calls. Now what will happen is
I'm going to just interrupt you.
Yeah,
I would not sell nat gas premium. Okay, I don't trade nat gas. Wake me up when it gets above 5. Maybe then it might be an opportunity to do some stuff. But right here,
Larry, tell your viewers, and I can't look at you because I'm talking.
Oh, here we go again. I am
Larry,
not trading nat gas. I haven't traded nat gas.
Larry, 4 weeks ago we had the conversation where you told me you were not going to trade Tilray. Remember that conversation?
Tilray options.
Tilray options. I have
okay,
not.
Look your viewers in the eye. Have you traded a Tilray option?
I have not traded a Tilray option.
I can confirm that, actually. I'll go with the confirmation
and I've only
of that.
traded it once.
Okay. I know you trade the stock. That's okay. But have you traded a Tilray option?
I have not traded a Tilray option. So
How many
are you sending me Zinger's Deli right now, Fish?
wait. How many times a week have you looked at the Tilray option board?
I have not. Am I on the witness stand? I have not looked at a Tilray option. I don't care about Tilray. Okay, I leave that to you.
I just try to bust his balls.
I know.
Anyway, with that being said,
but back to Nat Gas, because about 2 weeks ago you came on and it was about $3, and you talked about buying a straddle, and here we are at $3.20. So what would you do now? We traded up to $3.35. You still have a bullish kind of sentiment.
right.
Like
What I've done with my strategies is I converted them into calls. So against as of on these dips, I bought back futures against my puts, and I've converted the whole position from a long call, long put to just basically long call position.
Okay. And
by the way, as I say that, where's the market trading in that case?
318, 319.70 now.
Well, as I said that, what's going to happen. The market's going to fall out of bed because that's just the way it's going to be. But I really do think, okay, even when you read these publications, you read BCA, you read Morgan. Everyone's starting to talk about the fact that everyone's a little bit more worried about nat gas this winter than they used to be in the past. It never would be in the commentary of BCA about nat gas. It wouldn't be in the JP Morgan commentary. If you look at the nat gas stocks, SWN, RRC, Chesapeake, the ones that are still breathing, because some of them are all completely dead. These things have gotten killed so much that I don't know, because I don't really trade individual.
Sorry.
Maybe the professor can look at them and see what he thinks about those stocks. Because I don't know. Larry?
Yeah, we lost you for 1 second. You're back.
What do you think of the nat gas stocks?
Are you asking Larry?
Yeah.
He just stepped away for 1 sec, but he doesn't really follow the natural gas stocks that much. But the thing about these nat gas stocks, and again, I really don't know anything about them, is other than the group looks kind of interesting to me, is that the time to buy things when they've been really bad and it's a little less worse. If you look at those stocks, SWN, RRC, whatever it may be, Chesapeake, they've gotten the crap kicked out of them, and they're starting to look a little less worse. So for people who are afraid to trade nat gas from the long side with the weather, maybe those stocks look like something you want to buy against selling the S&P short. I don't know, something like some kind of spread, and completely confuse yourself. Yeah. No, on to a different subject, global markets. What are your thoughts on, I'm just taking a look at copper here. It's actually trading 280, so really has not moved down with the recent sell-off. And, a lot of people take a look at Dr. Copper, that's a big tell, but it's been getting crushed for months before this. What are your thoughts there? Any correlation or anything you'd look at with copper, S&P, or any global markets?
No, I have no idea about copper. I have no idea in my opinion, copper would be the same opinion as a gasoline attendant. I have no idea what I would be talking about. Yeah.
Have you looked at the lumber market? I don't know if Mike discussed that with you.
I have not. I do not have not focused.
I'm not saying for a trade. I'm just saying in general, if you look at that, it's the most amazing move. And I think that has to do with the expected slowdown somehow, and that the housing stocks. I don't know if you've seen these housing indexes down 30% for the year, construction index down about 35%, and lumber's down at off the high 50%. It's crazy.
I leave that to the experts at the opportunistic trade.
Thanks, Fish. Dude, you're very calm today. I'm enjoying this conversation. I really am.
Anything else?
You owe me deli, by the way.
The performance of S&P here, which is up 3 or 4% for the year. But if you take out the FANG names, Apple, Amazon, Google, Netflix, if you don't have that in your portfolio, your portfolio is down on the year right now.
Yeah,
closer in line.
The only thing I'll ask you is, to some degree, and I'm going to have this too many conversations, then I got to go back to lose some more money. But to some degree, when the market sells off and you have a 20% year down or 15% year down, it's an opportunity because people displace, they buy a 50% down year and they sell it out. But what happens if it's not a 50%? What happens if for the next 2 or 3 years, overall, big picture, there's no return on the stock market? Not bad, just no return. And the bond market, whatever you make in coupon payments, you lose in principal. So what happens if there's no return in the bond and the stock market for the next 3 years? Not a negative return, just no return.
Oh, the world would be over.
Mark, did we lose you?
That was it. They took.
He clicked
Wait, he
off.
mentioned
He
no
signed off.
return, and
It's
they.
the sign off.
No.
They mentioned no. Wait, they mentioned no return, and
Right,
he was
they shut
taken
off
off.
the-
I feel like I'm on like a Twilight Zone.
Am I still on?
You're
Yeah,
on.
you're
You're
back,
back.
you're
So
What happens if there's no return for 3 years?
I think it would be really bad. But how about if there's a negative return and these correlated trades, like you just said? What if bonds yields back up as the market's trading down? Then it's double whammy.
That blows the risk parity people out the window, right?
Right. Well,
Right.
that's what's
But
happening.
I
Well, listen,
don't even want to go that far. I just want to say just no return.
Well, if you take a look at from 2000 to 2010, there were
in what?
Okay.
2000 to 2002.
No. You made money because the bond market you made money in.
Yeah.
You made money in bonds.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. Anyway, with that, gentlemen, I have to go back. Larry,
All right.
it was great
Fish.
talking to you.
You too.
Mike, right? If you, Mike, I'll do one thing. If he puts up the Tilray screen and you send me a snapshot, I will send you to the Bahamas for the weekend. On me.
That we can
arrange that.
Fish. You're
My
gonna
wife would be very
wait.
happy.
They're up. Wait, Mike. They're up.
Right.
Yeah, wait. Move that camera. Put that thing on.
The other interesting thing before you sign off, Jersey Mike's, they're calling for a sponsorship ever since your last appearance, talking about.
They love
listen,
you over there.
I love Jersey Mike's. I don't care what anybody says. I'll put it against any of those, those delis up in Boca or wherever you guys are located in, Delray, Boca, whatever the hell it is.
All right.
And
Fisher.
by the way, the next week, Larry, that we talk next week when we talk,
Yes.
okay, we have to talk about sports a little bit, and we have to talk about the under/over number of games this year for the Heat.
You know what's funny? Actually,
Interesting.
today I was supposed to have Brad Feinberg is really all over this, and that's what he was going to talk about. But with the market volatility, I actually took him off. But that's his specialty, over-unders. If you want to
I want to know what the over/under. Here's the thing. Ask Brad the question. Is the under/over Heat? And I happen to think Dwayne Wade is the greatest, okay? And I happen to think as a person, he's an unbelievable human being and just a great person. But I wonder, is the under/over of the Heat, now that he's playing, higher or lower than it would have been without him?
Hunch. My thought. I mean, it's not.
It might be less, depending. If they're trying to give him minutes or whatever. Who knows?
I'll get that stat for you. But
All right, anyway.
NBA season starting soon.
Okay, listen, Mike. Well, you may be a lot of things, but you're not. You'll never be a TNT broadcaster. With that, I got to go.
All right.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Later.